You've been carrying the weight of hope for a long time. You didn't break, even when you felt like you were falling apart inside. You smiled for others, while your own heart was aching. You kept showing up, even when you wanted to disappear. And through it all, you never stopped talking to Allah. Maybe not out loud, but in those silent prayers, in those whispered du'as, in those quiet, Ya Allah, help me moments. You were holding on. But lately, something inside you feels like it's shifting. You can't explain it, but you feel it. A soft pull toward stillness. A quiet urge to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. And deep in your chest, there's a strange calm. Like your soul knows something is coming, even if your mind doesn't see it yet. It's not just your imagination. It's not wishful thinking. It's how Allah prepares His servants before the blessing arrives. Not with loud announcements, but with gentle signs, with small tests that stretch your patience, with doors that close so better ones can open, with moments of loneliness so you remember He's the one who never leaves. When the world goes quiet around you, when people drift away, when nothing makes sense but you still feel peace. That's a sign. That's Allah whispering, I'm making space in your life for something better. Because He doesn't just hand you the blessing. He shapes you into the person who can carry it. He doesn't delay to hurt you. He delays to prepare you. So if your life feels like it's pausing, if your plans keep getting delayed, if your heart feels like it's being emptied, don't panic. Don't think Allah has forgotten you. He's closer now than ever. And the silence you hear isn't empty. It's full of meaning. It's the calm before the arrival, the pause before the gift. So keep holding on, because your soul can already feel what's coming. And very soon, your eyes will see it too. Insha'Allah. Sign 1. Your life starts shaking for no reason. Out of nowhere, everything feels unstable. People change, plans fall apart, opportunities disappear, and you're left thinking, why now? But listen closely. When Allah is about to bless you, He first removes what was holding you back, not to hurt you, but to clear your path. The people who walk away, the things you lose, they weren't meant for your next chapter. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. Sign 2. You feel deeply empty, but not depressed. You're not sad, but your heart feels heavy. You have food, a bed, people, but something still feels missing. You're not sure what it is, but your soul feels like it's searching. That's not emptiness. That's space. Allah is clearing out your heart, so the blessing has room to enter. Before rain fills the earth, the clouds must gather. Before light reaches a room, the curtains must be pulled away. This emptiness, it's the space where your dua will land. Sign 3. You suddenly feel like changing. One day, without warning, something in you shifts. You wake up and feel a strange discomfort with your old routines. The things that used to excite you don't feel the same anymore. The jokes, the noise, the habits, they start to feel empty. You scroll through your phone, but it drains you. You hear music that once played on repeat, and now it feels heavy in your chest. You're surrounded by people, but you start craving silence. You begin to pull away, not because you hate anyone, but because your soul is craving something deeper. Your heart starts whispering, I want more. More peace, more purpose, more closeness to Allah. You find yourself thinking about prayer more often. You feel drawn to the Quran, even if you haven't read it in a while. You feel guilty about things that never bothered you before. And that guilt, It's not there to punish you. It's a sign that your heart is waking up. When Allah is about to elevate you, He softens your soul first. He makes you uncomfortable with what once felt normal, so you can grow into something better. It's not about being perfect, it's about being aware. That sudden urge to change isn't weakness, it's strength. It means your fitra, the pure part of you, is fighting its way back to the surface. You don't need a major event to trigger it. Sometimes Allah sends no noise, no crisis, just a quiet shift. A new kind of restlessness that makes you want to clean your room, delete some apps, pray a little longer, and sit with your own thoughts instead of running from them. That's not random. That's divine preparation, because the old version of you can't carry the blessing that's coming. So Allah invites you to grow into the version that can, step by step, prayer by prayer, change by change. And even if no one else notices, even if no one else understands, Allah sees it. He sees you, and He knows that this shift in your heart is the first step toward something greater. Insha'Allah. Sign 4. The world goes quiet around you. Suddenly life starts getting quieter. Your phone doesn't buzz like it used to. The conversations slow down. The friends who always reached out seem to fade into the background. The noise, the activity, the constant distractions, they just stop. And you're left sitting in silence, confused, maybe even hurt. You ask yourself, why did everything go so quiet? Where did everyone go? You check your phone out of habit, hoping for some message, some call, some reason to feel connected again, but it's still. And deep down, you wonder if you've done something wrong. But what you're feeling isn't rejection, it's redirection. Because sometimes, before Allah gives you something big, He needs to clear the space around you. Not just physically, but spiritually. When the world goes quiet, it forces you to look inward. There's no one left to distract you from yourself. The external noise disappears so the internal truth can rise. And that's when you start to hear what you were too busy to notice before. You hear your own thoughts, unfiltered, raw, honest. You feel emotions you've been pushing down for years. You start to realize that you've been surrounded by noise, but starving for meaning. The silence reveals everything. The pain you buried, the healing you need, the voice of your own heart that's been whispering, I miss Allah. And in that silence, you feel it, the pull towards something deeper, the urge to reconnect with your faith, to pray longer, to sit in sujood, not because you're supposed to, but because your heart needs it. You remember who you used to be before life got so loud. You remember the dreams that once lived in your chest, the kind of person you wanted to become, the closeness you once felt with your Creator. And you realize this quiet isn't a trap, it's a turning point. Allah removes the crowd so He can speak to you directly. Because some of the most powerful guidance comes when no one else is around to interrupt. That solitude isn't loneliness. It's sacred space. It's a private meeting between you and the one who knows you better than anyone ever will. In that stillness, you're not being forgotten. You're being seen more clearly than ever before. Allah knows how many times you've felt overwhelmed, how often you gave to others and forgot about yourself, how long you've been waiting for peace while drowning in noise. So He pulls you away, not to isolate you, but to center you. And it may hurt. The silence might feel uncomfortable at first, because we're used to constant movement, constant validation, constant distractions. But if you lean into it, if you sit with the silence instead of fighting it, you'll begin to feel something you didn't expect. Relief, clarity, peace. You'll feel Allah's presence, not through loud signs, but through quiet knowing, through a kind of peace that doesn't need explanation, through a kind of strength that starts forming in the quiet places. So don't rush to fill the silence with noise again. Don't beg people to stay when Allah is trying to gently remove them. Don't fear being alone when Allah is trying to make room for something greater. Because when He clears your surroundings, it's only because He's getting ready to fill them with something far more meaningful. And what's coming? It requires a version of you that only silence can shape. So trust the quiet, trust the distance, trust the process. Because when Allah speaks in silence, He's not ignoring you, He's guiding you, and He only guides like this when something beautiful is on the way. Insha'Allah. Sign 5. You keep seeing the same message everywhere. You start to notice something strange. It's subtle at first, barely enough to catch your attention. A verse about patience appears on your feed. A quote about trust shows up in a book you randomly pick up. A video plays, and someone says the exact phrase that's been on your mind. Then it happens again, and again, and again. It's always the same message, the same word, the same surah, the same reminder that keeps circling back to you. You're not even searching for it, but it keeps finding you. In conversations, in dreams, in the khutbah you weren't planning to listen to, in the post you scroll past. But something makes you stop. At first you shake it off. You call it coincidence. You think maybe your mind is just more aware of it. But deep inside you know it's more than that. It's too exact, too timely, too consistent to be random. And that's when it hits you. This isn't the universe trying to speak. This is your Lord, the one who knows your heart before you put it into words, the one who sees your fears, your questions, your confusion, the one who heard your quietest dua, the one you whispered in sujood with tears streaming down your face. He didn't answer with a loud voice or a dramatic miracle. He answered with repetition, with a thread that keeps tugging at your soul, pulling you toward something greater. Because Allah doesn't overwhelm you when He wants to guide you. He doesn't force you to change. He gently invites you, again and again, until your heart is still enough to listen. That message that keeps showing up is not a coincidence. It's a sign. It's Allah saying, "Look here. This is for you." It could be about letting go. It could be about waiting. It could be about faith, repentance, change, or courage. But whatever it is, it's exactly what your heart needs. And every time it comes back, something in you shifts. You pause. You feel emotional. You get goosebumps. You tear up, even if you don't know why. It touches something you haven't shared with anyone. It feels like the world around you is standing still for a moment, just so you can hear it. That's not random. That's divine. Allah speaks in whispers, not because He's distant, but because He's close. So close that a whisper is enough. He knows you've been waiting. He knows your heart is tired, but still beating with hope. And when He's about to change your life, He speaks through signs that repeat, so you don't miss them, so you don't doubt yourself, so you know deep in your soul that this is your moment. Don't ignore those signs. Don't call them silly or overthink them until they fade away. Don't silence the nudge in your chest when that same word, same verse, or same number appears again. Because when Allah repeats something, it's not noise, it's mercy. It's guidance, it's love. He's not just showing you something, He's preparing you for something. A decision you've been hesitating to make, a habit you need to leave, a path you're being pushed toward, even if it scares you. And the more you listen, the more peaceful you feel, the more it all begins to make sense. You realize the delay wasn't denial, it was construction, a spiritual build-up to something your soul was being trained to receive. So when the signs keep coming, don't walk away. Pause, reflect, listen. Because your Lord is guiding you in a world full of distractions, and if you're seeing the same message over and over again, it's because you're close, closer than ever, to the shift, to the opening, to the blessing you once begged for. And when it arrives, you'll look back and say, Subhanallah, you were guiding me the whole time. Insha'Allah. Sign 6. You cry more often, but your tears feel different. Lately, your eyes fill with tears more often than they used to. Not just when you're sad. Sometimes you don't even know why it's happening. You could be sitting quietly, doing nothing in particular, and suddenly your eyes well up. Not because of a painful memory, not because of something someone said, but because your soul is stirring in ways you can't quite explain. You hear a verse during prayer, and it breaks something open inside you. You watch a short clip online, and the words hit differently, like they were meant just for you. You're walking under the sky, feeling the wind on your face, and a wave of emotion comes over you. And all you can think is, what's happening to me? Why do I feel like this? Why do I cry so easily now? It's not because you're weak, it's because you're being awakened. These tears are not random. They are not shameful. They are not a sign of emotional instability. They are a sign that something within you is shifting deeply, powerfully, beautifully. Allah is softening your heart. He is preparing your soul for something it wasn't ready to carry before. Tears are part of that process. They are how your heart releases what words cannot express. They are how Allah cleans the wounds you didn't even know were still bleeding. The ones caused by silence, by disappointment, by pressure you carried so long you forgot it was heavy. These tears come when the walls around your heart start to fall, the walls you built to protect yourself from pain, but which also blocked out peace. And now Allah is taking them down, not all at once, but gently. He is making space for something sacred. You don't need to fully understand it, you just need to let it happen. You might cry while listening to Quran. You might cry during sujood. You might cry in the middle of a crowd, or when you're completely alone. And each time you may try to wipe them quickly, hoping no one sees. But don't. Let them fall. Let them wash you. Because sometimes your tears are your dua. They are your soul saying, Ya Allah, I don't even know what I need, but I know I need you. Ya Allah, I don't feel strong, but I'm still here. Ya Allah, I'm scared, but I trust your plan. Even the Prophet, peace be upon him, cried. He cried for his ummah. He cried in prayer. He cried out of longing for Jannah, for closeness to Allah. Tears never made him less dignified. They made him more human, more connected. So what makes you think your tears make you any less? They are not a flaw. They are a sign of life, a sign that your heart is still soft enough to feel, and only a soft heart can carry the weight of a pure blessing. When Allah is about to give you something big, He makes sure your heart is open wide enough to hold it. And tears, they are part of that opening. They cleanse you without needing permission. They carry away what words leave behind. They are mercy in liquid form, and each one falls with purpose. So if lately you've been crying more, don't panic, don't apologize, don't think something's wrong. You're being made new. You're being emptied of pain so you can be filled with peace. You're being broken open so something beautiful can rise from within. Let every tear be a reminder that you are still deeply alive, that your soul still remembers its source, and that Allah is near, closer than you think. because something is coming, and your tears are the proof that your heart is already making space for it. Inshallah. Sign 7. You stop chasing, you start trusting. You've prayed with sincerity, you've planned with care, you've held on to hope when there was no sign in sight. You asked Allah for guidance, for clarity, for something, anything, to show that you're on the right path. You did your part. You knocked on every door. You showed up again and again, even when everything inside you said, just stop. And for a long time, it felt like nothing was moving. You felt stuck. You watched others move forward while you stood still. You wondered why the effort wasn't bringing results. You wondered why your prayers echoed back in silence. And that silence began to feel personal. You began to think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe Allah doesn't want this for me. Maybe I should have tried harder, or stopped trying altogether. But then something deep inside you shifted, not suddenly, but slowly. A quiet realization washed over your heart. You were never in control to begin with. You stopped chasing, you stopped forcing, you stopped trying to fix everything with your own hands. Not because you didn't care anymore, but because you finally understood that the outcomes were never yours to manage. And in that moment, you let go. Not of the dream, not of the prayer, but of the pressure, the anxiety, the obsession with timing, the need to make it happen. You whispered, maybe for the first time, and truly meant it, Ya Allah, I leave it to you. And with that whisper, something profound happened. Your heart softened. The tightness in your chest loosened. The panic became patience. And the noise in your mind quieted. Because when you surrender to Allah, you don't lose. You're lifted. You stop trying to open doors that were never yours to open. You stopped staring at the clock, counting delays. You stopped demanding answers before the lesson was complete. And in return, Allah gave you something better than control. He gave you peace. This peace you feel now. It's not apathy. It's not resignation. It's trust. A deep, sacred trust that says, my job is the effort. The outcome is His. And that trust does something powerful. It transforms you. You're no longer living in fear of what might not happen. You're living in quiet expectation of what's already written for you. You begin to walk lighter. You sleep better. You breathe deeper. And slowly, without you chasing, forcing, begging, doors begin to open, the right ones, at the right time, in the right way, exactly how Allah planned it all along. Not everything will come the way you imagined, but it will come the way you needed. Because when your soul finally surrenders, Allah responds. Not just with answers, but with openings. Not just with relief, but with reward. You're no longer chasing people, outcomes, validation, or approval. You're standing in stillness, with open hands, with an open heart, ready to receive what was always meant for you. And that stillness isn't emptiness. It's alignment. It's trust. It's the kind of inner security that only comes when you know your Rabb is taking care of it all. So if you've stopped chasing, if you've finally rested the weight at His feet, know this. You didn't give up. You just finally understood what it means to trust the one who never fails. And that's when everything begins to shift. Not just outside of you, but inside of you. Because when Allah sees that your trust in Him is bigger than your fear of waiting, that's when He gives you the kind of blessings that only trust can unlock. And when they arrive, you'll realize it was never about chasing. It was always about surrendering, insha'Allah. The blessing is near. If you've been feeling these signs, in the quiet moments no one sees, in the tears you wipe away silently, in the sudden urge to change, in the way your heart is starting to crave more meaning, please understand, this is not random. You are not going through a phase. You are going through a preparation. This is not just a waiting period. This is sacred construction. Allah is rebuilding you from the inside out, not to break you, but to prepare you to hold the kind of blessing that your old self wasn't strong enough to carry. Every delay is not denial, it's design. Every silence is not absence, it's alignment. Every tear, every prayer, every moment where you almost gave up was seen, was recorded, was part of the plan. And you may not see the full picture yet. You may still be standing in the middle of the unknown, with unanswered questions and quiet fears. But your soul knows something your eyes haven't seen yet. It knows that what's coming is worth every moment of patience. Because Allah never wastes a struggle. He never forgets the one who stays loyal to Him in secret. He never ignores the one who chooses faith in the dark, when no one is watching, when nothing makes sense, when everything in the world says, let go, but your heart whispers, keep believing. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. Not for a small life, but for something sacred, something so meaningful, so weighty, so beautiful, that it requires a stronger, wiser, softer version of you. And that's what this season is doing. It's building you into that version. It's stripping away what can't come with you, the fear, the doubt, the old habits, the wrong people, the limiting beliefs. So don't rush to escape it. Don't beg to go back to what felt familiar. Because the blessing you're waiting for is not behind you, it's ahead. And you're walking toward it every time you choose patience over panic, every time you choose trust over fear, every time you get up one more time after falling. And when it finally comes, when the moment arrives that you've prayed for, cried for, waited years for, you will know it wasn't random. You'll see how every closed door was actually protection. You'll understand how every painful delay was mercy. You'll realize that the version of you who once begged for it could never have held it the way you can now. Because now you're different. Now you've grown. Now you know what it means to walk by faith, not by sight. So keep going, keep trusting, keep becoming. Your blessing isn't lost. It's not late. It's near. And when it arrives, you won't just be surprised by how good it is. You'll be in awe of how perfectly it fits. You'll whisper through grateful tears, Ya Allah, this was worth the wait. Because it won't just feel like an answered prayer. It will feel like a promise fulfilled, made just for you, by the one who's been with you all along. Insha'Allah.